You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Jesus walks into a motel with 3 nails, looks at the clerk and asks, "Can you put me up for the night?"
Bailey just had to be an opener.
It's lovely.
I don't know where my soundboard went. I was going to hit the rim shot on it, but I don't know where my soundboard went. Mike, I didn't post.
We'll see.
But anyways, welcome everyone to Cultober.
Oh my God.
Because it's the Crow.
It is. Yeah.
We're doing the Crow.
You know, I thought Bailey's thing was bad, and then something else happened, and here we
I
are.
at least warned you.
Man, that was a good call though. I did. I'm pretty impressed.
It was intense. I'll give you intense.
That was Birds of War level.
Stop it. That's
I mean, it was a sound, that's for sure.
I'm Bailey.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Ty. And we're doing 1994's The Crow for our last Friday as part of Cultober, our month-long celebration of all things Halloween.
Don't you ever say year-long again. I will stab you.
Oh my God, no. I mean, we could do it.
Cultober is
we
forever.
Couldn't. Don't you dare.
We could do it. I mean, it's...
I think we could, Mike. We could do it.
Technically
well,
did.
You all have a good time with that. Good luck. Huh?
We technically did a year-long Cultober. Let's just be real.
Honestly. This Cultober screwed my entire year up. It was so hard to tell dates and where I was in the year, because I was watching movies outside of the regular rotation I watch them in, and it was this Cultober preparation really screwed my 2023 up a bit.
Well, it's fine.
Sorry.
You survived.
Yeah,
2023 is gonna be trash anyway. It's fine.
It was all right. It sufficed. It was a year. It was a year. Yeah, it was another year here.
Yeah,
just what you get.
Yeah.
What you get.
I did a lot of things this year, and I'm still not done.
Yeah, we're still only October 27th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm still not done.
Well, at the time of recording, it's September 30th or whatever. So
yeah, we'll see what happens in a year, in a month.
Is there a 31st in September?
I often wonder darkly, us recording these so far in advance. Would any of these be a post-death episode? Make that announcement. Hey guys, we're releasing this episode with so and so on it. In tribute.
In tribute to Bailey, this episode is being released.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, is Ty fiending for just one host? Like, what's going on here? Like, don't kill me. No. I said, let me get married first, and then it's fine.
I'd say it'd be Eric, but his anxiety won't let him.
He's just the Adderall addicted gazelle that
he's just like, nope, can't die. I gotta get Cultober out. I can't die right now.
I can't die. I've got things to do.
Yeah,
Michael just reboot you.
I wonder if Cultober came out yesterday.
Can only hope if it could.
I mean, it depends on what episode.
I'm proud of you, Eric.
Comment below. Let us know if Cultober's out.
Go to YouTube. The Buzzsprout one will be out. The podcast feed will be out. But if you all could comment below if it came out on YouTube like it should have.
Yeah. If you're listening to The Crow on youtube.com/culttalknet and Cult of Lore, H.P. Lovecraft episode is not out yet, comment below.
But you know what is coming out on time? The Crow.
The Crow. Actually, I think it came out last Friday.
Either way.
Yeah, first and third. Probably came out last Friday. Let us know if it's out. It might.
Let us know if it came out at least in the week that's supposed to.
It might have been a week late. Cultober's been a big month, so a lot of things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey, you picked this episode. This is one of your picks.
This is one of my favorite movies, ever.
Well, are you a sad emo girl?
I think I was in a past life, to be honest with you, because my parents were really strict, so I wasn't allowed to be an emo girl. So it was just kind of I lived vicariously through my friends who were emo girls. But I actually didn't see this movie until a few years ago. Ben was the one that introduced it to me, and we watched it, and I just fucking fell in love with it. The passion in the film, and just the raw violence. It's so amazing. And then last year he got me the Crow special edition graphic novel that's written and illustrated by James O'Barr, which which is absolutely amazing. I've read it a few times now since owning it and loaned it out to everyone. I think Jerry was the last person I loaned it out to because it's so amazing. The artwork, the illustrations, the story, and even with the film, they held really close to the book as well. But yeah, I could literally just like jack the crow off all day long. But anyway, when was the first time you guys saw this movie?
Oh, I saw this movie very young. I was definitely that's with most things. I was definitely way too young to be watching The Crow when I watched it.
Yeah, we had it on VHS when I was a kid, and I remember watching it.
I know VHS. I watched it all the time.
But I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not one of those movies that ever really captured me growing up.
Yeah. It's definitely mine. It's the first Blu-ray I ever bought. I bought a Blu-ray player. The day I bought a Blu-ray player, I bought The Crow. I love this movie. I'm not a sad emo person either, but man, I fucking love this movie. It's just a badass flick. I don't know how else to put it.
It's wonderful.
You probably love the 90s action, the dramatization of every fucking thing.
90s action, yeah.
Even him petting the cat going on the way out of the apartment was super dramatic. Like, can you relax a little bit?
The damn soundtrack, man. The soundtrack is amazing in this movie. And just the aesthetic of it. It's always raining. You know me, I like the rain.
The 90s punches were getting me just...
Oh, yeah. I can't get enough of that. I love that. I love me some 90s meat slapping punches. Yeah.
Meat
has one of the Ghostbusters in it, so that's a plus.
Oh yeah.
Just some goofy characters. I love myself some goofy characters. I hate just boring characters, and that's definitely something this movie lacks is boring characters because everyone here has something to bring to the table.
Yes, really everyone's over the top. 100%.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love it. It's a comic book movie. I mean, that's what it is. People often forget that The Crow is a comic book movie, just because it doesn't follow like the modern tropes. You know, there's no beam in the sky, or there's no mystery box, stuff like that. It's just a vengeance tale.
I mean, technically, there could be a beam in the sky if you're looking up at the right time when he's like in the window, the circle window.
Right. But
yeah, because there was a graphic novel by James
O'Barr.
James O'Barr.
Was he involved in the film at all? Really?
He was pretty heavy in the consultation of it. He kept his hands in it because this movie got made. But this was not the first attempt at making a Crow movie. The first time he ever got called in to talk about making this into a movie, he sat down with the studio executives, and if you know about The Crow, the way it is on screen is basically how the comic book's depicted. It's very grim, dark, like vengeance tale. So he sat down for the very first time, talked about the movie, and it was pitched as a musical starring Michael Jackson.
Oh, jeez! Oh, wow! Ooh, that would have been way different.
Those talks didn't go very far.
Thankfully, yeah, it's actually really awesome to see how canon the book or the movie is with the book. And so I love it so much because James O'Barr wrote The Crow based off his own grieving process. He had a girlfriend that was in a car wreck and hit head on by a drunk driver and died on the spot.
Yep.
And she was actually on her way to come pick James up because his car had run out of car insurance, and instead of risking it and getting another ticket, his girlfriend said, "I'll come get you." So he blamed himself for her death. And he writes in the first 2 pages in the book, this whole experience and about how writing The Crow was basically his grief process and putting the unimaginable pain he was going through onto pen and paper. What I find super interesting is Shelley's name is actually based off of Mary Shelley from Frankenstein, or who wrote Frankenstein. And the reason he did that was because he felt like his pain had made himself into a monster. And Eric from Eric Draven was Eric D. Raven, by the way. And then that was based off of Eric from Phantom of the Opera.
Okay. So a lot of classic monster inspiration. So this movie, you said James O'Barr, he wrote the comic. It would go on to be scripted by David J. Show and John Shirley, and this was directed by Alex Proyas. Alex Proyas, he would go on to do such things as I, Robot, the Will Smith movie, pretty good flick.
Yeah.
Gods of Egypt, that movie was a pretty big flop. I didn't like that movie. Knowing, starring Nicolas Cage, which is one of those weird Nicolas Cage movies people kind of forget about. I always get it confused with there was another movie he had around the same time with a similar concept. But yeah, I remember watching that movie. I don't remember much of it, but I remember it being a weird kind of like under the radar Nicolas Cage flick. So the writers, like I said, it's written by David J. Show, who would go on to write Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh, cool.
And he would also go on to do The Hills Run Red, which is I think it's an indie horror flick. I remember seeing it one time, and it's like years ago. It's I think it might be like a mockbuster of The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh,
possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. And then John Shirley. And John Shirley would actually do, looks like he does a lot of writing for music. He's a music writer.
Oh, okay.
Does lyrics.
He does lyrics. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant like he writes musicals. I was like, what?
No, it looks like he does a lot of just writing lyrics for bands.
Interesting.
So that's a good influence to have in this movie. This movie is very music driven. It's not a musical, but music is a big part of this movie.
Oh, very much so.
And of course, it stars Ernie Hudson, Michael Wincott, who I think is a vastly underrated actor. He plays Top Dollar, and man, he is pure intensity. He has such a unique voice, and he's not in a lot of things. Like he's in stuff, but he's not like prominent in a lot of things. Last thing I remember seeing him in was Nope, which was my favorite movie of 2022. He's in that. That's the last thing I remember him being in. But I was really surprised to see him in that movie. But it fit because his voice is so unique and so dramatic. And that movie's kind of like a dramatic horror flick or whatever. So it worked really well in its favor. But that dude is just vastly underrated.
He looks like such a classic bad guy.
Yes.
Like this over the top classic bad guy. Like I love his hair in this film. The hair is what gets me.
Yeah.
Of all things, the hair.
The hair.
That straight flowing hair he's got.
It's beautiful.
That straight 90s flowing hair that, it's very, I guess, bad guy hair. Sure.
And of course, also in the lead role is Eric Draven, Mr. Brandon Lee, R.I.P.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Yep. Son of Bruce Lee.
He was only 28 years old when he died.
You know how he died, Mike? You know that story?
He got hit with shrapnel, yeah?
Yeah, on set. Yeah, the prop gun launched a piece of shrapnel into his head.
Tragic.
Yep, killed him on the spot.
It was, oh my God.
Did anyone get in trouble for that? I never really looked into that. If anyone
I think there might be a lawsuit, but I don't think it was anything major. I think it was basically. I don't think it was anything anyone was doing wrong. I think that it was more of like a regulation thing. Like the regulations just weren't up to par, so it was nothing that anyone would have caught. After this happened, there was like a whole like reevaluation of the prop gun, the ballistics regulations. So
yeah, because even
visited that this year too.
Right?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because outside of recent years, that was only the last time. Was there any time before Brandon Lee having that accident? That
I don't think any. I think there was things like misfires and probably people getting injured, but I think he was the first person to die, or the first prominent person to die from that occurring. So because after he died, it was like a whole thing. They had to reevaluate all the regulations. Do you guys know that? So Brandon Lee was not the first choice.
He was
play Eric Draven.
Did you know that, Bailey?
No, I didn't.
Who would you want to be in this role if it was not for Brandon?
In the 90s.
Oh God.
Oh boy, she ain't gonna know anyone in the 90s.
No, I know some people in the 90s. You know
name
what?
5.
You know who I
Just
would
5
have loved?
people.
Michael Bain.
Who?
Michael Bain. I have no idea who Michael Bain is.
He was Hicks from Aliens.
Michael Biehn. Okay.
Biehn. Yes. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah, Michael Biehn may have been. He might have been good.
Who are the names you have, Tyler? Who is up for this?
So I think obvious one, Johnny Depp. He was in line for The Crow. I think if I remember right, I think he's in the movie technically. I think it was like him and like because there's actors that are in this movie that aren't credited because Brandon Lee passed away and the movie was unfinished.
Oh yeah.
So if I remember right, I think it was like I want to say like
whoever stepped in for him because it was.
I think it was multiple. I think there was a few people that stepped in.
Right.
I remember like Heath Ledger. I think Johnny Depp.
I think his
was
brother.
Heath Ledger around? How old was Heath Ledger at this time?
He was around. I remember him kind of stepping. I always hear his name, but I could be mistaken because I think I'm getting it confused with another movie that Heath Ledger did.
Well, Heath Ledger, he died for Dark Knight. People stepped in for him.
Yeah, I think I might be confused confusing that.
Yeah, because
there are certain shots in The Dark Knight that are other actors.
Yeah, I think it was his brother that stepped in for a minute because I'm trying to find it because I want to see if it's right.
It looks like a stunt double. It was a stunt double.
Okay.
Chad Stileski was brought in, and they used like some very state of the art digital technology to put Brandon Lee's face on him.
Yeah, like superimposed his face on him.
Yeah, because I think the scene. I have a theory that the scene between him and God, I hope I get her name right. Jesus Christ. Sarah. The scene between him and Sarah when he's saying goodbye. I don't think that's actually Brandon Lee. I think that might be the stunt double who's doing that because you don't see his face the entire time, but it's a overlay monologue.
Yeah, Brandon Lee tragically died on set from a prop gun accident. Scenes were adjusted and stunt double was used with Lee's face digitally superimposed in some scenes. So yeah, they just used the stunt double, I guess.
Yeah.
Some other actors that were up for the role. So Johnny Depp, Christian Slater, who I love. Christian Slater. I'm Christian Slater. And I'm a werewolf. River Phoenix, another actor who died way too soon. The brother of Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, he died. He was kind of pegged to be like one of the breakout star of the 90s. People thought he was going to be like the DiCaprio, basically. The legacy Leonardo DiCaprio has. People thought that was going to be River Phoenix because he was. Yeah. They thought he was going to be like the guy. He's in Stand By Me. He's the main character in Stand By Me. So if you ever seen that, you ever seen that, Bailey?
Yeah, I have seen Stand By Me.
Yeah,
it was required watching in school for us.
Stand By Me.
Also, Charlie Sexton. He is a rock musician. So it looks like they were kicking around rock musicians because Charlie Sexton. He was Bob Dylan's guitarist, and also John Bon Jovi was also up for the role, which I could have seen that. I could have seen John Bon Jovi playing it.
John Bon Jovi's done a few movies, actually, hasn't he?
A couple. I know him from Vampires too.
I remember in school we were watching was it Pay It Forward, and he comes in as that kid's dad. We're just sitting here watching this in class, Bailey, and the guy walks in and is like, "Why is this?" First of all,
Bailey, have you ever seen Pay It Forward?
I have not.
Oh fuck!
I'm sorry.
It might land for the audience, Mike.
Fine, I'll say it for the audience. So this kid and the kid's like dad walks in. It's played by John Bon Jovi, and Tyler's like, "Why the fuck's this kid upset? His dad's John Bon Jovi." It's like it's not the rock star. No, he's playing a character.
Oh, Ty.
Oh no, it was Tyler doing just one of his jokes. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, Brandon Lee actually had to convince James O'Barr. He was good for the role of Brandon Lee. Yeah, he had to actually convince him.
Oh my god!
And
I think he was the only one that still get an official offer of a formal offer.
Yeah, I think so. I think the other one's just up for consideration. It seems like Brandon Lee was kind of the studio pick.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, or actually, it looks like the studio pick was actually Christian Slater.
Oh, okay,
he was pretty big then. Yeah.
Early 90s. Hell yeah, I love Christian Slater. I love me some Christian Slater. He's fantastic. But James O'Barr ended up getting convinced that Brandon Lee impressed him, so he chose Brandon Lee. They'd actually become very close while working on The Crow. Brandon Lee was one to make sure he honored James O'Barr's visions. They hung out a lot, basically talked a lot and things like that. So when Brandon Lee died, it impacted James O'Barr, and he would even remark that it was like losing his fiance all over again. Brandon Lee passed away.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah. And it made him regret even writing the comic book.
Oh no!
He felt like his if he hadn't written the comic book, Brandon Lee would still be alive.
The movie wouldn't get made. So it's the domino effect,
butterfly effect.
Yeah,
butterfly effect. Yeah.
How would you know though? Like he could still have gotten like hit by a car the same date and time.
Well, he wouldn't have got shot in a movie about his graphic novel. That's for sure.
Unless James O'Barr was the one who hit him, it wouldn't have been on James O'Barr's hands.
That would suck to have that kind of feeling about it. Though it's like I killed my rough.
There are some people that
it's kind of interesting. He wrote the comic because his fiance died. Then Brandon Lee dies. So he's like, this comic book is just like so tied to death for him.
Yeah, there are some people that say this is cursed. The Crow is cursed.
Yeah, there's that, but the main curse that I know people associate with this is the Bruce Lee curse.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the Bruce Lee curse?
I don't think I'm aware of it.
So Bruce Lee is the dad of Brandon Lee. Bruce Lee is credited as introducing martial arts, kung fu, to the Western world. He popularized it in the Western world after people saw him doing it. All of a sudden, you have dojos and Westerners learning martial arts. So then Bruce Lee also died at a very young age. So the curse of Bruce Lee is that he was cursed by Japanese deities because he was he broke the tradition of martial arts being an Eastern art.
Oh,
he took it over to the Western world. So his bloodline was cursed. So that's it. Then Brandon Lee dies. They're like, it's more blood for the curse. So
yeah, I don't fuck with that. No, thank you.
Is there any of the Lee family still alive? I guess.
I'm
sure there is.
Yeah, there's still Lee's family. Yeah.
Do they practice martial arts?
Oh, probably.
I'd imagine.
At least to some extent of knowing.
Yeah,
it.
you'd have to. But
yeah,
that's the curse that people kind of put on this. Now, in addition to the actors we named off, Ernie Hudson, Brandon Lee, and of course Michael Wincott, you also have Tony Todd, horror icon, the Candyman himself.
Yeah.
He's in it. He's always amazing to have in a movie. He does a lot of really shitty movies now, though. He's older. He does a lot of really bad to-be original horror movies.
He needs to put him back. Like, he's still in his prime too. Like, even though he is older,
he's getting up there. But yeah, I think he does a lot of voice acting too. Because I'm pretty sure he was in the Transformer movies.
Yeah,
I think he's like the voice of the villain in the Transformer movies because he's got that very noticeable voice. Also stars Bei Ling. She plays Top Dollar's femme fatale
because
she's
a
badass.
Sister.
Yes.
She's his half sister that he's having all kinds of fun with.
Very close relationship they have.
Nope, I don't want that.
She was also in Wild Wild West, a movie Cult Talk Net has some ties to that no one knows about. It's a tie we hold in the background.
Who did she play in Wild Wild West?
Bei Ling's character.
Okay. I'm gonna have to watch that one again and look for her. Can we just talk about the shower they have? They have the shower, which is we meet Bei Ling's character when she's.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that next segment. Let's not ruin it here. I want people to hang on for
I don't want people to learn about Bailey's obsession with bathrooms at this time.
My interior design.
I don't think we need to have people bricked up this early on in the movie.
Oh God. So what else we got?
How much do you think it cost to make this movie?
I think I already looked at that.
Have you looked at it, Bailey? Do you know?
I have not.
How much would you guess?
This is the part I suck at.
Bailey either goes really low or just overshoots it just for the stars a lot of the time.
I think $3 million is reasonable.
Yeah, way more than that. So this right here is a lesson in economics. I know Mike has had to explain this to other people in Cultober as well. So you look at a movie on a screen, you're like, oh, there's 14 people on screen, few interior sets, and some rainy miniature external sets. Can't cost anything.
Right.
Then you got to think about
makeup.
Who's feeding these people, who's transporting these people. It adds up. This movie cost $23 million.
See, I got the 3 right.
Yeah, you're only $20 million off.
Only $20 million. That's good enough on the books. So let's go to budget a film now.
Yeah, give or take 20 mil.
Give me a calculator. Don't make me guess.
It's just a rounding error. It's fine.
Yeah. How much do you think it made, Bailey?
Now here she goes again. She's either going to really overshoot it or undersell it again. I love your consistency,
it made
Bailey.
40 million. Because I don't think it had. Because I feel like I've heard that it didn't make a whole lot in the box office.
Oh, this movie was huge when it came out.
Oh shit!
So whoever lied to you.
This movie was projected to make nothing. It was critics were like, this movie is going to bomb, and this became a sleeper hit. It opens up the box office, ends up raking in $94 million. Triples its budget.
So it made its money back at least.
It doubled it because they always say to make profit has to be budget and a half.
Yeah,
that's profitability. So it made triple its budget, basically.
That's awesome.
They warranted sequels, yeah.
It did warrant some sequels.
They get one
less
or two.
said about those, the better. It got 3 sequels and a TV series.
We're not talking about those.
The TV series, not the worst thing in the world. It's got Mark Dukakis in it, and Mark Dukakis. He if you guys search Mark Dukakis on YouTube, you'll find he does this Food Network show, like Something Challenge, and he's fucking wild on there. He's the host of it, and there's some just like really great memes that came out of that show. So if you YouTube it, you'll find a bunch of clips of that.
Nice.
But yeah, it was followed by 3 sequels: The Crow, City of Angels, which I believe was theatrical.
Yep.
And I think
Wasn't
it's
there
the
also
only
a video game, City of Angels, or no?
Yeah, the City of Angels video game is notoriously like one of the worst video games of all time.
Not worse than E.T., but still probably
Not worse than
bad.
E.T., but I'd say like the what was that, the second gen? That's what they call the 90s, second or third gen, whatever it is. It's like notorious as being one of the worst movies of that generation. The Crow, Salvation, which had Kirsten Dunst in it.
Yup.
And Crow, Wicked Prayer, which stars Edward Furlong and American Pie Slices alumni Tara Reid. Hear more about Tara Reid on American Pie Slices.
Yeah, go check out American Pie Slices and learn
for a slice of summer in the middle of October.
Yeah,
October.
I mean,
Just,
yeah,
some
people need it.
Hilarious.
So need it. But then it was followed up with a TV show starring Mark Dukakis, which I remember seeing some episodes of the TV series. I think it's on Freevee. I think Freevee is like the free video thing.
We don't talk about that. We talk about Tubi here.
Yeah, it might be on Tubi. But I remember watching a couple episodes when I was younger, and it's kind of like one of those like some character has a problem, the Crow shows up, helps them, moves on. One of those kind of 90s shows, one of those 90s things.
Thanks, Crow.
Procedural?
No, not procedural. It's more like whatever I don't know. I don't think that's called a procedural. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's one of those 90s TV shows, one of those 90s things. I think was it Something Leap is kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Quantum Leap. It's kind of like one of those things.
One of
those type things.
Semi-procedural, but
semi-procedural.
It's got a goal.
Yeah, something like that.
It's got an overarching goal that launches it into a procedural.
Yeah, if I remember right, it's one of those type of shows. But yeah, this movie, huge hit. Just out of nowhere, comic book movie, mid 90s. This was an indie comic book, produced by an independent film studio, starring basically unknowns. Aside from having Brandon Lee with his Bruce Lee lineage, but at the time it wasn't like Brandon Lee was a huge name himself. He was just the kid of Bruce Lee.
Where do I know the pawn shop guy from?
He is in like a lot of shit. There's a lot of character actors in this movie. You'll recognize what everyone here in something.
Even the black guy. He was in Jane. Was it? No, not Jason.
You're thinking of the pawn shop guy is played by John Polito.
Yeah,
and he is just in an endless string of movies. He is in Big Lebowski.
Okay.
He's in Big Eyes, the Tim Burton movie. Just an endless number of things. Yeah, I think he was in a cop show in the 90s that was really big.
That might be where I know
procedural, yeah, of course, yeah. Procedural.
And even the black guy, I can't remember his name, but he had like the knife guy.
Yes.
He was Chasing Amy. He was in Hackers.
Yeah,
that's where I know him from.
Yeah, you're thinking of Tintin. That's Lawrence Mason. Yep, he was in Chasing Amy. He was
a good character in Chasing Amy. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
he was a funny character.
He's also in Hackers.
Yeah, I like Hackers.
Prison Break.
He was a character in that too.
Yep.
He was in Prison Break?
Yep, he was in Prison Break.
Apparently. I don't remember in Prison Break.
Never seen Prison Break.
Nah, yeah, it goes off the rails after a while. Just one of those shows like it starts off really great, then it feels the need to keep going. It's like you don't have to.
Yeah, how do you make? Isn't it like 7 seasons? How do you make 7 seasons of breaking out of a prison?
Well, what you do is you go put them in another prison, and they have to figure out how to break out of that one too.
Is that every season?
No, it's one big. It starts out without getting too deep into it. This guy breaks his brother out of jail. It's like just a whole to do. They spend a long time in the prison. They break him out. He has like tattoos all over his body. It's like basically blueprints and things he needs to do to be able to break out of the prison, and it's pretty insane. But then it just starts going off the rails until this like it breaks off to a big conspiracy theory type shit as it keeps going.
Interesting.
The senator is just corrupt as shit.
Well, government.
Well, yeah, and then they end up in a different country and have to break out of this other prison. Yeah, it goes off the rails. But you got anything else off the wiki? Because if you don't, I got other things for The Crow.
No, go ahead. Go for it, Mike. You're one to bring some good stuff to the table.
Yeah, we covered some stuff. You did all the alternate cast people with, Bon Jovi and Christian Slater and all of them. Brandon Lee actually lost 40 pounds for this role to get the way they wanted him to look physically.
Oh, yeah.
He does have to be like kind of emaciated. It's going to have to go for.
Yeah, because that's the thing. He was already like a small dude, I believe, Brandon Lee. Like he wasn't, like for him to lose 40 pounds is like, where did you lose it?
It wasn't beefed up or anything. Yeah, but yeah.
No, he's I don't know. It's weird because like you can see it in his cheeks too. Like even with the paint on, like he looks sort of emaciated in the cheeks. Thinking about it now.
Yeah. I mean, he is kind of sickly. I mean, I guess the idea is for him to look sickly because he's been dead for a year. So why not?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I think I remember reading that when James O'Barr created Eric Draven, he took inspiration from Iggy Pop. Have you ever seen Iggy Pop?
Mm-mm.
Iggy Pop is a rock star, a rock musician. And he is like he's notorious. He's basically skin and bones. That's like his thing.
Right.
He's just like,
oh yeah,
skin and bones. He's in the sequel. He's one of the villains in the sequel. And Crow 2, he's one of the villains in that.
Is he fuck you, bird dick?
I think so. I think he's fuck you, bird dick.
Fuck you, bird dick.
I think so. I think that might be him. But he's Iggy Pop's in the sequel. But yeah, Iggy Pop, he was from the Stooges. And yeah, he's if you just Google Iggy Pop, he's just like skin and bones. That's his thing. But I think that's who James O'Barr was inspired by. I think I remember reading. So that's why they wanted Eric Draven or Brandon Lee to have that look.
Gotcha. Devil's Night. The movie is set in Detroit on Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. Though portrayed in a fictionalized manner in the film, Devil's Night is a real and often destructive event in Detroit.
Wow.
So we know when not to go to Detroit.
Yeah.
Never. That'd be
I've been to Detroit a few times. It's not bad. I went there for the Fox Theater to watch the Nutcracker. I went there there's a haunted house that's up there. I think that's Devil's Attic up there. It wasn't bad. It's not worth traveling far for. That's what I'll say. But if you're in the area of Detroit, it's worth going to Devil's Attic. And Mom's Spaghetti is in downtown. Mm-hmm. Whatever.
How was it?
It's spaghetti with meatballs. It basically it tasted like if you had your own spaghetti and just reheated it at home. That's exactly what it tastes like. It's not bad if you like that.
That shit's just sold like just off the name value alone. They know they aren't too worried about quality. They know they're making their money off of Hold
on, Bailey, where's that from? Mom's Spaghetti.
The Eminem song.
Okay,
well, there you go.
We got to make sure we're
Use
not
yourself. I didn't think of the name for a second.
Yeah. Where am I? There was a missing character.
Yes,
the Skull Cowboy.
Cowboy, played by Michael Berryman from The Hills Have Eyes. They shot and completed all his scenes and then cut it out of the final film,
which is awful.
He's supposed to be like a guide for Eric Draven between the real world and the afterlife.
He's basically like explaining the rules of his resurrection and mission and all that.
Yeah, he's an expository character, but I think they left it out there. I think it works better not having.
It's more of a vengeful tale. Yeah, keeping it like without him being there. It's like, this is why you're brought back. He's like, no, he knows why he's brought back. Well, he might not know why he's brought back, but he knows what he's wanting to do.
He figures it out over the course of the film. Yeah,
he figures out what he's wanting to do while he's alive. He's like, well, I'm going to kill these motherfuckers.
Violently. The Skull Cowboy in the book plays a really big part. He basically like watches Eric go through like remembering everything, and then the Crow sort of acts as like his watcher, I guess, like kind of helping things along,
giving him his power, really.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures. You can find pictures of it online. It's pretty cool looking. It makes it almost like a little too comic book movie though. Like, I don't know. It seems a little. It's very cool design. It just seems like it's a
little too far.
Like, it just seems like it wouldn't really fit in with the final movie. Because I mean, aside from Eric Draven, the rest of the movie's pretty wacky. But this seems like it would have been just this big. It seems like it would have been just weird having the movie. Might like change the tone of the movie a bit.
Yeah.
And also looking at the movie's music video aesthetic is basically due to the director Alex Proyas. His roots are in music video direction, so that's why you kind of have this. I think that plays into like what I was getting at earlier. It's like this very dramatic. Everything's super intense. Even petting the cat, walking out of the apartment. It's super music video. You have to make everything over the top. For
that's
a music
beautiful.
video because it's such a finite amount of time. But he could have eased up a little bit for a feature length, don't you think? Maybe.
No.
I think the soundtrack is awesome. I think the soundtrack's like one of the best parts of it.
Next, the soundtrack highlights. featuring tracks from various iconic bands. Stone Temple's Pilots had originally recorded Only Dying for the soundtrack, but following Lee's death, it was replaced by Big Empty. So I guess they didn't want the Only Dying song, I guess. Whatever. I get it.
I haven't heard it. I'll need to hear it and then make a decision on which one I would have preferred.
Right. Let's see. On-set tragedies. Besides Lee's tragic death, other accidents and incidences occurred during the movie's production, adding to its somber aura. The original comic was also born out of tragedy, inspired by James O'Barr's personal loss, which we talked about, his fiance dying and all that. Potential sequels. Brandon Lee agreed to 2 more sequels. Like, he was signed on for all of them.
Wow.
I wonder, would they have been better if it was him for any reason?
I think so, because when the James O'Barr had, he wasn't credited as a writer, but he was pretty heavy in the writing process. So when the sequel rolled around, he was the first person to go to help devise The Crow 2, and he ended up not writing it. He tried, but he told him he couldn't write it because every time he tried to write, he has thought about Brandon Lee. So he opted out not to write it. And David Goyer took over. David Goyer is like basically the godfather of comic book movies, modern comic book movies. He'd go on to do Blade, all the MCU, the first MCU stuff. Then he'd go on to work on the DCEU shit. So he's like a big comic book movie guy.
He's cranking out the hits these days, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think he still does them.
Probably not.
I don't think he still does them. He was like a guy, and he was in the big. He had a pretty heavy hand in kicking off the craze.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
And last thing I had, just talking about like reboots and stuff. In the late '90s, Rob Zombie was set to direct a reboot titled The Crow 2037, which would have been set in the future.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
That never came to be.
Yeah.
Listen, I lost a little bit of faith in Rob over the past couple of years.
I've never had faith in Rob Zombie. Never.
Like, listen, I don't know where people got that.
Devil's Rejects is passable. Those Halloween movies are fucking abominations.
I mean, it's
the House of Thousand Corpse movies are fucking awful. Devil's Rejects is passable because it's a Western. It's passable. And it's got some good performance in it.
That movie legit freaks me out. And any movie that could freak me out every single time I watch it automatically goes in my Halloween playlist. Because it's like...
House of Thousand Corpses is Evan's favorite movie. And I was like, I cannot watch it. I'm like,
I don't think I've watched that one.
Devil's Rejects, I think, is the only good one I like. But I do not have any faith in that guy. I think he's a hack. I think he ruined Michael Myers.
I think he provided a decent backstory for Michael Myers, though.
He made everyone white trash. That's all he did. He made Michael Myers white trash.
Look past the bad and look at the little diamonds in the rough. Well, there was a decent backstory for Michael Myers in that one.
I don't know. I never enjoyed him. The sequel was really bad. The Halloween 2 movie. Yeah,
because that's when they go after
don't you make Michael Myers talk?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you? Yeah, don't you fucking make him talk? Don't you take his fucking mask away for half the movie and make him see a fucking white horse because you want to try to be artsy in a Michael Myers movie?
It was inspiring.
It makes you relate to the character more. Yeah. That's all. He talks like I talk.
Yeah. He said, "Oh,
we need an Addams Family."
He said, "Ooh, I can backlight a woman my wife on a horse. This looks like art." And that's what he did. People are like, "That looks so cool. How you backlit your wife on a horse?"
Try to silhouette or something.
Hackery is what he is.
But I think we're ready to jump into the next section where we talk about The Crow more.
Oh, let's do it. Let's talk about The Crow. 1994's The Crow. Let's go ahead and let's fly into the next segment. Let's spread our wings and fly into the next.
And we're back with The Crow. Caw, as Tyler would say. Were you a crow in another life, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm a bird of war.
bird of war. Crow and raven, they're saying, but a raven feels more like a
raven is much bigger than a crow.
But essentially the same thing, yeah?
I mean, no.
So was this a crow or a raven in this film?
It's a crow.
All right.
Yeah, it's definitely a crow.
All right, just making sure. I don't, where is the size difference between raven and crow? I don't know.
I don't.
Let us know, and I'm going to get us going through the plot for the Crow of 1994, directed by Alex
crow.
Prower.
You gotta fight. Every morning you want to fight like a crow.
Crows aren't really fighters? Really, they're more like antagonizers more than anything. Like I don't know.
This crow fucking kicks ass.
All right. Not really. It has someone else do its bidding, real for the most part.
I mean,
it kind of gets comeuppance in the end too.
So a raven weighs 40 ounces while a crow weighs 20 ounces.
That's what I thought.
Wingspan is double the size of what
so
a crow
literally double the size makes it a raven.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've been a good villain for the crow to have in one of the comics.
A raven?
Yeah. Some guy shows up in the raven.
Interesting. Like you're the crow, I'm
David
the raven.
versus Goliath thing, yeah.
So let's go with just hit some beats for the Crow's plot breakdown. We got our setting background. We got film opens in the fictional Detroit on Devil's Night, the night before Halloween. A year prior, Eric Draven, our main character, and his fiancée Shelley Webster were brutally murdered by a gang led by T-Bird under the command of crime lord Top Dollar. The crow comes and taps on Eric's gravestone, resurrecting him. Eric, guided by the crow, returns to his old apartment and experiences flashbacks of his and Shelley's murders. With supernatural abilities and the crow as his link to the living world, he sets out to avenge their deaths. Can we talk about this over-the-top makeup applying scene? Well, even the flashbacks was just super over-the-top.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is just super over-the-top.
Success. I think it's that rock and roll influence.
I don't think anything is over.
He's donning his war paint. He's getting ready to go to war.
Mm-hmm. He's a different person.
Because even the way for him to have to realize that he regenerates now is the big jump, swing out the window and swing back in where he cut his hands on the glass just for him to realize, like, I regenerate.
It was like, what were you going to do if that didn't happen?
I don't. That's the thing. That's why it's like, what? I mean, okay. First of all, it's a guy that's resurrected by a crow. I'm not going to superanalyze.
You died once. Well, that's not to say you can't be regenerated. You've regenerated one time.
I'm not going to critique the reality, how realistic this film is when it's a guy that got resurrected by a crow tapping on his grave. I'm not going to nitpick the reality of it.
The color schemes in these two scenes, though, where he's remembering versus the flashback of everything happening, it's so, like, it goes from black to red, which is really, really cool. But, I mean, it's such a beautiful film. Like, it's a beautiful film. Like, you're not going to find me to say something bad about this because I don't think it's too over the top. I absolutely love it. I think everything fits. So, no, it's not too over the top. I'm like, this is beautiful.
I'm on the same boat. I don't have anything really bad to say about the movie. The movie. Comic book. I have things to say about the comic book.
But we're not here doing the comic book.
No. Maybe movie is fucking rock solid.
Maybe that's next year. I mean, we did Halloween Tree last year and did Halloween Tree comic book thing this year. So
I'm sure I'll voice my opinion on the comic book here at some point now.
Then Eric begins hunting down the gang members involved. He confronts Tintin first, retrieving one of the engagement rings stolen from Shelley. He uses his newfound supernatural strength and agility to overpower his adversaries, making their eyes with a crow symbol. What? Do I remember that?
So here's my critique on the comic book.
Okay.
This is a good spot for it. It's a good spot for it. Him fighting the gang. We have Tintin and Top Dollar, T-Bird, all these guys. In the movie, it's awesome. You see Eric Draven getting his ass kicked, fighting back, coming back, being resourceful to take out these guys. It makes these guys seem more imposing, more of a threat. Comic book, I always hated the comic book. Basically, Eric Draven's Superman in the comic book. Mm-hmm. He just runs through them, and it's very unsatisfying. I don't think he gets I don't think there's any fight in the comic book where it's like, oh, he might not make it.
No,
it's just he runs through them. I hated that about the comic book.
Well, he's like, did you see him in the comic book? He's like beefed out to hell and gone. Like,
I know. I just don't like that. I don't like Superman in general.
Oh, you don't? Oh, really?
I don't like that. I don't think that's a very satisfying character. character.
Like, there's no reason Superman should ever lose to anything.
Exactly.
It makes no sense for him to lose.
Exactly. I don't like that kind of character. I think it's not satisfying for me to watch a movie where it's like, this guy cannot be beaten. Nothing can stop him. Watch him be unstoppable. I never like that. It doesn't make for very, satisfying characters or very emotional story arcs. Just like, this guy just fucking.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no stakes in it for the good guy. Like,
exactly. That's why I didn't like. That's my main problem with the comic book, is I just think it just was kind of unsatisfying for me to read it.
And in the film, though, I never had a sense like he was going to lose anything, but he definitely was like toying with him more. It felt like.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, it's a movie called The Crow. You're not like, oh, the crow's going to die 45 minutes into the movie,
right?
Like you're not concerned about that, but still, it's like you want to be on the edge of your seat. You want to think you want to see him struggle. You want to be there with the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the main differences of the comic and the movie is top dollar, because in the comic book, the gang members are basically, it's like all like on the same playing field. They're just like they're just a gang of miscreants, and that's it. Top dollar is not the top dollar in the movie. So what they did was they Hollywoodized the movie for the better by making Top Dollar into the big bad. You know, he's this big kingpin. And another thing I love about the movie they didn't do in the comic book is Top Dollar gets some supernatural powers.
Yeah,
that's not in the comic book. In the comic book, Top Dollar dies, and over the course of a page, like everyone else does.
Oh yeah, with all the rest of them. Yeah, because he has Macia, Bailing's character.
Yep.
Like, give him all kinds of like psychic visions and spells and potions and everything like that. I'm pretty sure they sacrificed a virgin in the first part when we meet him. But like, she's a creepy bitch.
Yeah. And that really works for it, because it's like then you have like the immovable force meeting the what was it? The immovable force meeting the unstoppable object.
Yeah, immovable object.
Yeah, immovable object.
Unstoppable force, unmovable object. There
you have that dynamic. Whereas in the comic book, it's just unstoppable force versus
some things in its way,
very movable objects.
Yeah,
like you were just in my way.
Yeah, I never liked that about the comic book. I was like, I know it's probably because James O'Barr was writing more on the basis of trying to exercise his grief rather than trying to make a action comic book. I think is mainly what it was. He was just making a comic book where a guy just decimates his grief and overcomes it, and no obstacles in his way. But to me, it doesn't make for a very satisfying story. But in the movie, I love it, because like even when he fights was it Tintin, and he's like getting his ass kicked by Tintin. Like I always thought that was cool, where he's getting his ass kicked. Then at the end, where he fights Top Dollar, and he just Top Dollar whoops his ass for the first part of that. I love that stuff. Makes for a much more satisfying story.
Right. It's very, very die-hardy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes Die Hard so awesome. Yeah.
So Eric continues his vengeance, killing Funboy, who was with Shelley when she died, and T-Bird, who played a direct role in their murders. As Eric delves deeper, he discovers the attack was ordered by Top Dollar. The city's fires and chaos during Devil's Night were a cover for criminal activities and profiteering, as you do with like a purge type of night. Yeah. This is like the 90s was like peak horrible time for Detroit, right?
Yes. Yes. Think late 80s, early 90s when Detroit was like, 70s was like when they were like booming. Then it was that hard crash.
Yeah, they'll do it. Just economic deprived, and yeah, they'll do it to you. Alarmed by Eric's actions, Top Dollar and his half-sister / lover, how you say her name? Micah? However.
Misa, I think is what it is.
Yeah, I can't remember. Decide to fight back. They discover Eric's link to the crow and realize harming it could make Eric vulnerable. Ooh.
Now some stuff I don't think we've even mentioned Sarah yet this entire time.
Talk about Sarah.
Yeah. Sarah's a pretty big part of this. We also talk about Ernie Hudson either. We haven't talked about Ernie Hudson's character this entire time either. Sergeant Albrecht. So Sarah is a really cool character in this movie. It's a little kid who's, usually I hate little kids in movies. They usually ruin it. But Sarah does a really good job in this movie as being kind of like the, I don't know, what would you call her? What would she be?
Probably his human link. Like
his link to humanity. Yeah. And you want to talk about over the top. What about the scene with Sarah's mom?
Oh my God.
Where he extracts the
heroin
drugs from the heroin out of her. system. That's over the top.
Cool.
Yeah, that was wild. That was even every time I see it, I'm like, man, this is edging toward like insane. This is where it gets a little much, but I still enjoy it. But it's like
because he's like even talking poetic the entire throughout the entire.
Talks poetic the entire movie. It's
where does that come from? Like, is it just he decided to do that, or is this linked to him somehow? Do we know much about him? He's
a weird guy. He's a lyricist musician. Yeah.
And in the book, James O'Barr, before like each chapter, there's a small poem before each chapter too. So I wonder if some of that maybe got pulled from that.
But yeah, he grabs her arm, stretches it out, just like you see the he said morphine, right? Mm-hmm. Which is probably more like heroin.
That's why I always thought it was heroin.
I always thought it was heroin. Yeah.
But you see it gooping out of where she injected it. It's like, I don't think, okay. Don't think that could work.
He has the power of Jesus, okay?
But he was making Jesus jokes, so...
He's cool with them. He's allowed to.
Bailey, what's your favorite Jesus joke?
Probably that one from The Crow.
You probably don't know any other Jesus jokes, do you?
Yeah,
Christianity. It's a pretty good one.
Not very. What is it?
It's like Christianity. That's a pretty good one. It's a pretty organized religion and a...
Yeah,
very good.
Why did Jesus quit playing hockey?
That's a good business making. Actually, I can't shit on.
Can't shit on Christianity. It's a good business model.
Oh man, great business model. Wish I'd have came up with it.
Bailey, why did Jesus stop playing hockey?
Why?
Kept getting nailed to the boards. Alarmed by Eric's actions, we covered that. You want to talk about Ernie Hudson real quick?
Ernie Hudson, he's great. He's like the human protagonist in this. Like, Eric Draven, he's not, he's ethereal. He's a higher being, I imagine. But yeah, like Ernie Hudson's greatness. Ernie Hudson's a great actor. He doesn't get enough credit for the stuff he's done outside of Ghostbusters. Everyone thinks of Ghostbusters. He's done a lot of stuff. The Crow definitely is one of those things that he really shines in. As just being this like everyman, which is it's why he got cast in Ghostbusters, is because he was the everyman in Ghostbusters. That was his role there. So I mean, kind of a similar role here of being just like the everyman, just good cop trying to do right by his city.
The everyman man.
Yeah. Everyman man.
He's like that in They Live too. He kind of plays that too.
That's Keith David.
Is that really? Why am I thinking of that?
Because
they look alike.
From Georgia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ernie, yeah. All you see is color.
Fuck you.
Georgian roots rear its head. You're like,
I could have swore that was Ernie Hudson. Could have swore.
I you know what? I even thought about looking it up real quick before I said it. I was like, no, I'm sure I'm right.
It's a big diversion to his role in Blade, where he plays Blade. But I think it's a really good contrast to the humor he has in Men in Black.
Oh wow!
Now Bailey, if you don't understand the joke, what it is that wasn't Ernie Hudson those past two films.
I understand.
As long as we're clear.
I think he hosts Family Feud now.
He does not. That is Steve Harvey.
It's okay, Bailey. We forgive you. You just have to ask the audience for fine. That's fine.
It'll be okay. We'll be fine.
Eric, did you have any more about Ernie Hudson while we're here?
Oh no, he's just great. I just I didn't want to just
not talk about
pass over. Yeah, especially not Sarah, because that's a pretty big part of the movie.
Oh
and
yeah.
Sarah, she actually, I don't know if it's the same actress, but her character is in Crow too. Like she's the only like character that continues to the sequel. I don't know if it's the same actress though.
So I haven't watched the sequels, but did they kind of serve more like a, I guess, anthology really?
Yeah, because that was one of the main. So after Brandon Lee died and after The Crow came out, it was obviously a hit. A studio, no matter what, it's gonna be like, this made money. Let's make some more. Let's make some more. So David S. Goyer, when he got on the project, I think it was maybe James O'Barr who was the studio actually was very big proponent of it not being Eric Draven. And David Goyer even went to like some forums. This was early days internet. There was message boards and whatnot. So he even went to like Crow message boards and asked, what people would like to see in a Crow movie. Oh. And that was like the common thing that came back was like, do not recast Eric Draven.
Yeah.
Like that was like the main thing. All the fans like, we want to see a sequel. Just do not recast Eric Draven.
Yeah, just make it something else.
Yeah. So in the movies, it's always a different character. It's a different
Which
thing.
could kind of make sense. Like, it's like a thing of ravens that go around resurrecting for
Crows.
vengeance. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Crows going around.
Like the name of the movie.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
it should have been a raven. The raven. Well, I guess you start running. That's probably why.
If it was a raven, they just called it a crow, and there was just no explanation to it.
But just like this whole thing of like crows going around and resurrecting people for vengeance tales and some higher purpose in the middle of all that too. So justice, the world won't give justice, so the crows give justice.
I mean, listen, they were murdered, and she was like raped and tortured and murdered in
30 hours, right? She suffered for 30 hours, wasn't that the thing?
Yeah, because it was actually, what's his name?
Yep.
Shut up! Leave me alone, Ernie Hudson.
Oh,
it was actually Ernie Hudson's character that stayed at the hospital with her.
Yes.
Were you sitting there thinking, it's like, no, not Will Smith, no, not.
No, I was
not
like
Wesley
Harvey,
Snipes,
Samuel Jackson, Chris Rock.
I was like, I can't even think of the damn character's name. Like, what the hell? So, no, but yeah. And then that's when we kind of see more of Eric's supernatural powers, because he can like see into their mind, like the memory that was going on.
Yep. It's crow vision.
Crow vision.
So anyway, Eric confronts Top Dollar at a church. The crime lord reveals he was the mastermind behind the attack that killed Eric and Shelley. Battle ensues. Meanwhile, Misa, how did they say her name again?
I just started calling her Bailey.
Misa captures the crow, making Eric vulnerable.
Ruh-roh.
That bitch.
Yeah, that's a really cool aspect they put in the movie as well. Like, I much prefer the adaptation over the source material.
And then, despite his weakened state, Eric manages to defeat Top Dollar by transferring to him all the pain and suffering he and Shelley endured, which overwhelms the crime lord. Eric is severely wounded in the process, very supernaturally, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's his purpose.
That's his purpose.
He's executed his purpose.
After avenging his and Shelley's deaths, Eric returns to his grave. His mission complete. The crow, symbolizing both his guide and spirit of justice, remains in the living world, hinting that it might assist others seeking vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That was a quick bullet point run through of the crow.
Yeah, no, because I imagine people have seen the crow.
Oh yeah,
you'd hope.
I would hope so.
And if you haven't, you need to like rush to your TV or freaking Amazon app or whatever and watch it right now.
Blockbuster Entertainment and rent up.
The movie based on the graphic novel is as much about the emotional journey of grief and loss as it is about revenge.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Now, wasn't it in the comic book, Bailey? Isn't he a mechanic?
I haven't seen anything but the comic book, so that's between you guys.
Or is he a musician in the comics as well?
I think he's a musician. I have it right here. Oh my god, I dropped my cough drops. I think he's also a musician. No, I think you're right. I think he is a mechanic because they were far more artsy with the characters.
Yeah, because in the sequel, Crow Salvation, the sequel to this, he's a mechanic. I think he's like basically based off the Eric Draven comic book version, but his name is like Eric Morbius or Mobius or something like that.
Yeah.
Ash Corvin is his name. Ash Corvin.
Yeah.
These all have like rock and roll names. But yeah, I think he's like a mechanic in that one, if I remember right. And it was a nod to that.
Yeah, because I think you're right. I really do. Oh.
Well,
it's very interesting. If you can find like a video, there's a really good video on YouTube by Good Bad Flicks, one of my favorite YouTubers. He does a big breakdown of the Crow City of Angels, which is the sequel. He does a really big breakdown of that, like talking about how it got made, after Crow, how the sequel got produced, and how the sequel, like there's supposed to be a director's cut of City of Angels, which is supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be an incredible film, but the studio basically took over this movie, the sequel, and like just chopped it up. Whereas the Crow, the original movie, they had a lot of freedom to do what they wanted, and the studio and the sequel decided they wanted to step in and change a bunch of stuff. But apparently there's a director's cut of the sequel that's supposed to be incredible. I
would be interested in seeing it. That is for sure.
I have the sequels. I bought like a 3-pack like right before it went up in price. Now it's like super expensive. I remember I bought it like right before it went up in price of like all 3 of the sequels. supernatural. And I know I've seen the one with Edward Furlong once on Sci-Fi Channel, because it was like a Sci-Fi Channel original, if I remember right. And I've seen bits of the sequel. I think I've seen the Kirsten Dunst movie. I don't know. I think I've seen bits and pieces of them all.
The Kirsten Dunst one is the only one that I haven't seen yet. I haven't been like super impressed with them, but also like, I don't know. It falls in that same category for me as like, you know, like The Matrix, where it should have just been a standalone film and like there were no sequels to be made.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my own personal opinion, because no one is ever going to be Brandon Lee's Eric Draven for me. Like, that is the Crow for me. Like, and that's just it. I mean, yeah, they have good storylines and yeah, they're wonderful. And yeah, I will watch, you know, if the director's cut ever comes out, or, you know, and the Kristen Dunst version. But yeah, I mean, that's just my own, you know, I think it should have been a standalone film. It was good enough to be a standalone film. That's for damn sure.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm sitting here kind of looking through like differences between the movie and comic, but it seems like you guys really just covered most of everything. The basic plot remains the same, consistent, but the film introduces new characters and slightly adjusts motivations and backstories, such as like Top Dollar being a minor character in the comic book becomes a main antagonist in the movie. Even his sister and right-hand man Grange, is that him? Our character is present in the movie, but not in the original comic. What, did he not have the sister lover in the comic?
No, she's a completely made-up character for the movie.
She was there to give the supernatural element. She was there to be the
link.
Yeah, what gives him the supernatural stuff, what, you know, determines that shit.
Yeah, because it kind of makes it unfair. Now thinking about it in the book is like, he's got this supernatural element to fight with, whereas, you know, Top Dollar, Tintin, all of them, they don't have anything. So it kind of levels the playing field out a little bit in the movie.
Yep.
Right. Eric and Shelley were killed by a gang because their car broke down the wrong neighborhood in the comic.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in the movie, it's because they were trying to
prevent tenant evictions.
Yes.
From their apartment building.
Right. Yeah.
So,
no, they broke down on the wrong spot, and Tintin and Top Dollar wasn't in there.
Makes it more of a martyr kind of thing, doing it like they did in the movie. So it sounds like good changes, really.
I think one of the coolest things too is the end where he defeats Top Dollar, is how he uses all the pain that he felt from watching his fiance die.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
How he like transfers that over to Top Dollar. I think that's pretty cool. How it's like in the book, it's all about like overcoming grief, but in the movie, he uses the grief to his advantage. I think was kind of cool.
Yes, yeah, so. And I mean, it's poetic justice as well, because it's like all of that pain that Top Dollar caused is returned to him, and it kills him, right? Like, it's like he's dead. So I mean, that just shows him how much pain he caused both Shelley and Eric. It's enough to put the perpetrator of that down. It's poetic justice, in my opinion.
Right. And even in the comics, Shelley dies almost immediately instead of like the 30-hour drag out that they did in the movie.
Had to make it worth it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to add in the suffering or no one really cares, right? Like, oh, he just died.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Any other big differences you guys want to talk about in the comic or movie? I don't know if we'll ever cover the comic in the future, so we might as well cover it now. Yeah.
I think we've done a pretty good job of covering it here. Not that I can think of anything I think is notable. I just much prefer the movie over the comic. I think it's one of those rare cases where people always talk about, you know, the source material versus the adaptation. I think the adaptation is a little more put together. I think it was like due to James O'Barr not really wanting, you know, he didn't set out to make an action comic book. He set out to make like a more grounded, deeper. You know, it was less about the journey, more about the destination. I think maybe in the comic. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like the movie kind of took good measure to make both satisfying.
Mm-hmm. But no, yeah, I can agree with that. I really can't choose between the book over the movie. I think one complements the other very well. I absolutely love the book, just because you get so much backstory into not only the reasons why James O'Barr decided to write this, but you also get some backstory between Shelley and Eric. And I mean, the artwork, I find the artwork to be absolutely beautiful. I just sent you guys one of the main photos
see that.
in the book.
Is he an alcoholic in the book? Why is he carrying this bottle?
Because he beats someone over the head with it.
Okay.
He's cool. Drinking's cool. cool.
Because he's cool.
Dragon's cool, kids.
Just like smoking. It's cool.
This isn't a kid episode. We can't talk to the kids in this episode. They're not here.
They're not here. No, they're not listening. But I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The artwork for me in the book is absolutely beautiful. It's such a painstaking story, no matter if you're watching the movie or, reading the graphic novel. You
Or
really
even the behind the scenes. It's all just sad.
I mean, it's so sad.
yeah.
It's so, and it really just pounds in that message of, love really is choosing whether or not the pain of losing that person is going to be worth it. And how far will you go to be with this person again?
Not very far, myself.
Not very far. I would cross the ends of the earth.
I would maybe cross the street if there's no cars coming.
But I love it. I absolutely love it.
Now, The Crow, obviously, iconic piece of filmmaking, iconic film. Yeah, of course, as with any iconic film, there is always remakes, reboots. This movie has been in reboot hell for like nearly 2 decades.
Just leave it there.
There has been so many times this thing is like you get news like it's happening, everything's rolling, then it's dead.
Never mind.
Constantly. I think I can think of Bradley Cooper. He had one that was like about to start production. Like it was like he was getting fitted for costumes and all that shit. And it was done. Jason Momoa has been trying to get this made for like 10 years. He's been wanting to be the Crow for like ever. He's a little too beefy, I think, for the Crow.
I think that's why I'm having an issue with it.
That's why I've always had a problem. It's like he like really loves the character. Like,
well, if they did like the comic book, he'd fit right in.
Yeah, exactly.
True. Yeah, because I mean, he really loves the character. Like, I know he's like really active, like on his social media about how much he loves the Crow, and he seems like he has a lot of respect for it. But I don't know, he's a superhero guy. You know what I mean? He's Aquaman.
Yep.
So I mean, it's like he just seems like he'd be just a little too imposing to be the Crow. I want my Crow to be vulnerable. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Brandon Lee iteration. But I think as of the current attempt is Bill Skarsgård,
Yes.
Pennywise from the new It films. I'm pretty sure that movie is like basically happening. I think it's like starting to roll. It wrapped production on September 16th, 2022.
Wow.
So it is actually happening.
Wow. Okay. That's actually really cool. So it
looks like it takes place in Europe, though. It's like it was filmed in the Czech Republic and stars FKA Twigs as his fiance.
Okay.
And Danny Huston as a undisclosed. Danny Huston's the main villain vampire from 30 Days a Night.
Oh, okay.
So he's in it, but his role has not been announced. He's also Angelica Houston's half brother.
Nice.
Oh, I hope she wasn't cast.
Angelica Houston?
Oh, I'm thinking of the Top Dollar with his half sister.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we're not gonna put that on screen, are we?
She's old though. Angelica Houston's old. That'd be really weird.
Fabulous though, no matter how old she is.
But
wonderful.
But yeah, this movie seems like it's happening. Bill Skarsgård, so that's interesting. I'd be interested to see some pictures and shit of that when it comes out.
I'm interested. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fucking skeptical though because of the reboots that we've been forced upon this year.
They've all been gold.
Yeah. Maybe polished gold. But like, no, that'll be exciting because I think Bill Skarsgård did a wonderful job as Pennywise, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, like he actually like had like some sort of like trouble after playing Pennywise. Like he like was disturbed by it afterwards.
Makes sense
because he got so deep into it. I may not be thinking of that correctly. I may be pulling what's his name? Evan Peters from Jeff.
Oh, from Dahmer.
Yeah, from Dahmer. I may be pulling some of that out. But yeah, he did fabulous on that. It was probably one of the best horror aspects one of the best horror villains I've seen in a long time. It's one that we still continuously watch and I continuously get terrified of. So, but that'll be that'd be cool. I'm skeptical, but I'm interested.
I think it being shot in a European country would be kind of cool. So Europe has that gothic architecture. I think it'd be interesting, like aesthetic to bring to it. All the churches and all that shit that utilize that stuff, gargoyles and whatnot.
I just want the circle window.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. They gotta bring that. Like that's like the cover of the comic too. Yeah, I mean, they gotta keep that.
I think if they bring anyone back to play the Crow, it might as well be Chris Angel Mind Freak. He already has the wardrobe.
Jesus Christ! No, thank you. No, thank you. Dude's insufferable. He can keep his ass over in Las Vegas, whatever residency he's tied down to.
I think
I don't remember. Let me show you. This crow will disappear.
Yeah.
Just pulling magic tricks into the crow.
Yup.
It's like it's already supernatural.
It would probably fit a little bit. So he does like the waxing poetic in this one, in the 1994 one. So it might be kind of interesting to see like a jester kind of doing some shit. Like that might be kind of interesting. It might be.
I talk into Chris Angel doing
no, not Chris Angel doing it. But the idea of like him doing like a magic trick or something. Do like the Heath Ledger Joker disappearing pencil trick. That's a good one.
Let's just get Penn and Teller to do it then. Let's just get a couple magicians. Let Teller be the crow.
Yeah, we'll have to speak.
I think we're ready to get to the next segment, guys.
Yeah,
we don't have segments in these. We're just kind of rolling into it.
Well, no, we got the next part.
I was told
where we rate the film, Tyler.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we rate the film.
Oh.
Has Cultober taken that much out of you?
No, I just don't think I've been editing in a bumper on the videos for that part. So
you never do. We never done. It's fine.
I know. I've been doing the intros though.
Did you know that Brandon Lee was nominated for an MTV award for Best Actor in Lost?
I mean,
what?
I feel like he should just get it. Like, give it to his family.
What? Was he in
sorry,
Lost?
I'm looking at the award.
No, he lost.
He lost. He was only nominated.
No, he's dead weight for Lost. Came around like.
That's what I thought. I thought she said it was in Law. I don't know. I'm ready for Cultober to be over too.
Maybe they Orville Redenbachered him like the he's in it. You just wait. That's going to be a thing. I bet here soon. I can see that happening here soon. Some AI actors coming back from the dead.
It's going to be brilliant.
I'll be upset.
We'll bring back John Candy.
Nope.
I'll be annoyed by it, but I won't really get upset about it. I mean,
I'll be annoyed and I'll watch it.
Yeah. It takes a lot to upset me. I mean, I'll watch it, but I'll be like, we'll see.
Yeah, but it's not real. Like, I mean, you might as well just like make and instead of an AI and going all to that trouble, just make an animation. It's gonna be way cheaper.
Same thing.
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
just use an AI voice.
Yeah, you're just getting hung up on the term AI.
I don't think that.
Like, I still want to see him come back. Can we just not use AI?
Yeah, you're saying why don't they just animate it? How is that better than
and not like try to make it, like John Candy, like have it in remembrance of him, like like I mean he is gone.
So we can use an AI voice?
No.
Then we're just not using John Candy.
I mean, in memoriam of John Candy, not using John Candy, but like clearly an inspiration for John. Listen, John Candy is one of those where I'm like,
I'm confused where the line is, where you're like, listen, you can do it without like basically impersonate every aspect of John Candy. You still say it's John Candy.
In memoriam,
I get that. Yeah,
don't recreate it, like because I'm. Here's my hang up on it, because I don't trust these sick fucks that are out there right now, because now I'm scared they're gonna make John Candy into this dumb old dad like they like to do with like basically make the male counterpart an absolute idiot to the woman counterpart, and I just don't want to see John Candy go through that. Okay,
fine, we'll get the AI and we'll make a John Candy reboot.
I mean, that's really the only way I'm gonna trust it.
I still don't trust it.
I'm indifferent to it. I don't care.
Who would you like to see come back as AI, Tyler?
Chris Farley, my favorite actor of all time, favorite comedian.
Nice.
Yeah. So, or I would be in favor of not bringing back dead people, but maybe like they already do it now with the de-aging stuff.
Oh yeah.
If they could do that better, I'd like to see like maybe new episodes, the X-Files, but set in the 90s with young Scully and Mulder. I'd be on board for that kind of stuff. But
nice.
Yeah.
But let's get to our next time where we rate it, Tyler. Tyler, give me a caw.
Police, don't move.
I thought the police always said freeze.
Well, I am the police. And I say don't move, Snow White. You move, you're dead.
And I say I'm dead, and I move.
Yeah, we are getting a little exhausted here at Cultober. I was talking to Mike yesterday about this episode, and he was like, I forget what he's talking about, but he's like, just bring it up tomorrow. We're recording Addams Family. I'm like, we recorded Addams Family a week ago.
Oh, Mike. You poor dear.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. Oh man, it's literally gone on all year long for us guys. Like, we love this so much. I love it. I've had a lot of fun. I get to watch all kinds of new movies.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it just throws my fucking ear off watching like Halloween Town and like the middle of summer. That just really fucked me up.
Yeah, that one was a little
watching Hocus Pocus and Spring. Things like that really fucked me up. I don't know.
We were on one though for Halloween. Listen to that whole, because I finished editing it and upload. But geez, we were just on one. Like Tyler especially. But I was just playing off Tyler. Then we're picking on Eric, and then shocking Bailey and Jerry.
I don't know what Mike was editing it here at my apartment, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what was I on?
It was great. It was good stuff.
I was just throwing shit off the cuff, just zero regard for anything. I don't know what was going on.
Then Eric probably was going to abduct children.
That's a wild listen. Go check that one out. Halloween Town. That's a wild listen. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Right, I tell Mike, leave it all in. Leave it all in.
Boy.
I don't
even the cuck beta stuff.
Leave that all in. I'm very anti beta cucks. I don't want that to be misconstrued.
It's like, let me be clear.
Yeah, very clear on that. Ty Alexander, vote no on beta cucks.
Oh boy.
Need alpha.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, 1994, The Crow. That was a good watch.
Are you saying this is where we're not using all that stuff?
We might.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bring it in there.
I mean, we might as well. It's fabulous.
It's good promo for further episodes. Go listen to these other episodes.
In case I don't use it, there's the bumper back there. You guys may or may not heard as listeners.
Yeah. Go check out Halloween Town to learn our stance on beta cucks.
Yeah. Or definitely at least Tyler's stance on beta. I'm an enabler. I enable anyone's point of view. Well, that's not good. Let's not say that. That's worse somehow.
That is worse somehow.
Okay.
Like, whatever you believe, I'll just make sure you believe it stronger. No matter what moral ground it lands on,
I will support you.
Yeah, I support you.
I need to go figure out restructure that sentence, but 1990,
run that through AI.
Yeah, run that through
AI.
1994, The Crow. Good watch. Full disclosure, I watched this like weeks ago, probably a month, and I had to go through and watch movie clips to be reminded of everything in the film.
Yep.
God bless YouTube movie clips, whatever. I can't remember the actual name of the channel.
Yeah, what I do is it's like with these movies, I've watched The Crow countless times. I don't know how many times I've watched it. I'm pretty sure I own it on every format except for Laserdisc. I own VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray.
That's cool.
I don't own the 4K, but I don't have a 4K player. But
get it on vinyl somehow.
Maybe Santa Claus will bring me a 4K player.
Santa Claus.
But I'm pretty sure except for the Laserdisc, I own every medium. But I always go to like Film Comics Explain, kind of get their like little breakdowns on it, kind of refresh myself on these because we record just way too much.
We do a lot. Yeah, I actually listened to the Critical Drinkers take on The Crow. And I love the Critical Drinker. First of all, that is a good looking man. Second of all, he's fucking Scottish. Third, he's hilarious. And he's fabulous. I love him to death. But he actually has a pretty good take on it because he watched it when he was younger and didn't like it, and then watched it again as an adult and had a completely different take on it. But he's got a pretty good video on it too.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah, I've yet to get into him. I've yet to listen to any of his stuff.
So when you're done listening to us listeners, go listen to him. But listen to us first.
Mr. H is who I go to. I watch all Mr. H.
Fabulous.
I like Mr. H. I don't like the people he podcasts with though.
Mm-hmm.
Culture Casino. That dude is a fucking. That dude's a prick. I don't like him at all.
Is he a beta cuck?
He is very. That dude is red pilled as fuck. I don't know.
Oh man.
That dude. I don't think he likes seeing women in public.
Oh.
I do not like that.
It's like I won't swear by it, but that's the vibe I'm getting.
I get the vibe that he's offended by seeing women anywhere but the kitchen.
Wow.
I do not like that guy at all.
They should just have a hallway that goes from the kitchen to the laundry room to the bedroom. That's one hallway women belong in.
That is it. Somewhere along the way to slap their tampons out, and that's about it. Like
that bucket in passing.
Bucket in passing. Then they have to go ask their husband for another one. Like, once their chores are complete.
Have you ever seen a man in the grocery store shopping for his wife's tampons for the first time? Oh my God.
I never had that problem.
As you might know, Tyler would never have that problem.
Never had that problem.
It's hilarious.
Have you, Mike?
Oh man, God bless those.
I don't know if I ever went shopping for tampons. Really, I'm like, I don't know if I've been asked. I've always just been made clear. It's like, I'm going to probably get you the wrong thing because I'm not going to try very hard.
Oh,
what are you doing later? Wanna go shopping? Let's go.
Just go shopping.
Try it out.
We have to be specific. We send the picture, the brand, and all this stuff. Like, don't put them at a disadvantage.
What's your favorite flavor of them?
They don't come in flavors, Ty.
Is it the cherry? It's got to be the cherry.
Cherry one, yeah.
So let's get back to The Crow 1994. Tyler, go ahead and give us some final thoughts and a rating on this bitch.
1994 is The Crow. I cannot. I honestly, the as far as the movie goes, I do not have a negative thing to say about this movie. This movie is one of my all-time favorites. I love Brandon Lee's performance. I love the supporting cast. Michael Wincott, Ernie Hudson. All those guys are great. Everyone. I can't think of an actor I'd like single out as being like, oh, they were the weakest element. I don't think anyone was bad in this. I don't think there's a single beat of the story I don't enjoy. I think the pacing is excellent. I'm never bored watching it. I watch it, ad nauseum a lot. I mean, I'll throw it on randomly. It's one of those movies I can pop in at any time. It's just so sad to think what happened to Brandon Lee. It kind of makes you wonder, like, what would have been in Brandon Lee's future if he would have not passed away? Would he have went on to do the whole series of the Crow movies? What would he be doing today? That's always the sad thing to ponder, is what could have been with Brandon Lee. Because if anything, I think the Crow showed there was a wealth of potential for a very successful actor there. Not anything bad I can say. I pulled my stance. I prefer the adaptation over the source material in this. But it's just a great story, great movie. Nothing but good things to say about it.
Nothing but good things. So what do you rate?
Well, we go through the final thoughts, then we go to rating.
Oh Lord, fine.
There's a structure here.
You forgot this segment even existed. The fuck you mean?
Well, it's strike one for me, strike one for you.
Aww.
Fine, Bailey, your thoughts. Go.
I fucking love it. All of it. It's amazing. Yeah, it is. I love it. It's so painstakingly heartfelt and beautiful. And it really just shows the beauty that can be in feeling such horrific pain. And I love it. And that's like the emo girl coming out in me. But it's beautiful. And I love it. And I love at the end when, because all throughout the movie, he's seeing Shelley and he's seeing Shelley kind of like in, her final moments and whatnot, because that's what's driving him to do what he needs to do. But in the very end, he sees her all at peace in white, leading him into the afterlife. And it's just so fucking beautiful. I love it. There's nothing I can say bad about the book or the movie. It's fabulous. I love it.
And then entered Michael Henty. No, it's a great film. I think they definitely captured what they're after. Like we've said, it's a comic book film. It's iconic. It is. I mean, everyone would know this film. The thing that sets it off for me is it's just over the top in the wrong direction for me. And I like over the top films. So that's not to say I don't like when things go over the top. So like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that shit's way over the top. But that's over the top in the direction that I tend to like. I think this one just goes away from my preferences as just too dramatic. Just the over top dramaticness of it is what kind of makes me not want to watch it all the time. But to its credit, it captured exactly what it was after in doing that. But it just as an audience member, it just misses me. But I still respect it for it's a good film. It landed everything it wanted to do. And as it sounds, it did do better than what the comic did. Like as far as the adaptation of it, did sound like they made some great changes to help make it more cinematic and thematic for that matter and everything.
Hollywoodized it.
Yeah, Hollywoodized it. Yeah, in a good way. But it hit everything it was wanted to, but it's a little too sad boy for me. Or sad girl, whatever.
No, if it was sad girl, you'd be all over it.
Yeah, it's not quite sad girl. It's sad boy.
Yeah.
Sad boy.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Now the ratings.
Yeah, now we're rating it. Go ahead, Bailey, rate it. Give us a rating.
I'm going to do 5 out of 5 engagement rings.
Okay.
Pawned off engagement rings. There we go.
Okay. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. What are you doing, step bro? Out of 5.
Oh,
Very
boy.
much those vibes.
Well, they weren't even step. They were half brother
They were
sister.
half.
What are you doing, half bro? Out of 5. Five of those out of 5.
I'll give it a 4 out of 5 meth extractions, or
Okay.
not meth, morphine extractions, I guess.
Morphine. Yeah, it is morphine. I looked it up. It's morphine.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 morphine extractions.
Wow, so this came pretty close to getting a perfect score.
Yeah,
we've had a couple of those this year.
Sorry, I ruined it.
Oh, you're fine. It's not for you. This would have been a Netflix series, and they recast had Eric Draven in it. You would have.
We need Kirsten Stewart to be Erica Draven.
Yep.
No.
Erica Draven. She worked in the Detroit City Hot Topic, then was murdered. Mike would have been like, "This is fucking awesome."
I get where this movie's coming from. Now.
Yeah, I get where I really connect with this female protagonist they've got here. Yeah, Mike would have been all over it. But yeah, I get it. Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
What can you do? But this has been a good review. We talked about a lot here. We talked about the sequels. We talked about the comic. We kind of overlooked the entire Crow franchise, the remake.
Oh yeah.
We covered it all here in this. This was a good overview.
It became more of a case study on the Crow franchise.
It did.
Yeah.
This we did this with Friday the 13th. This might be like a Crow franchise thing, but yeah, this was fantastic. This was a good episode. We covered a lot of details.
Good details.
Oh yeah,
We learned things along the way.
we did. And of course, this is the last Friday of Cultober.
No,
And there's only 4 episodes left of this month. This Sunday, you'll be getting our final Sunday episode.
Woohoo!
As we take a look at the Halloween Tree, the book review. Last year we did the movie. This year we loved the movie so much. We were like, how can we make Halloween Tree part of Cultober again? And of course, the book was the obvious place to look.
Oh yeah.
Taking a look at the source material. And that is a really fun episode. Definitely check that out. If you haven't read The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury, do yourself a favor and pick it up. Very cheap, so pick it up anywhere. Then Monday is the final episode of Cult of Campbell for this month, and myself and Mike and Eric are finally reviewing Evil Dead Rise, the newest Evil Dead film. And you can hear what we have to say about that. We promised that episode all the way back in like April.
Yeah.
So we finally got it out. Better late than never.
Yeah, things happen, man.
It's what you get when you have Cult of Lore guy on an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
They
We're
are
blaming Eric somehow in all this. He's not even here to defend himself.
Yeah. He knows what he's done. He knows. And then Tuesday, Halloween Day, October 31st, you will be getting an episode of Cult Talk Conspiracy, where Bailey and I will be taking a look at the Beast of the Barrens, the legendary Jersey Devil.
Yes.
On Cult Talk Conspiracy. And then right here on Cultober Plus, you'll be getting our annual Halloween all hands on deck Cultober special, where we're taking a look at the iconic 90s film The Addams Family.
Dun dun.
There we go. Add my clicks in post.
Like dun dun's not good enough for you.
Nope, not good enough.
But that's going to be a great episode. Make sure you guys join us for that. That comes out October 31st, right here on Cultober Plus, as well as youtube.com/culttalknet. And that'll be the final nail in the coffin of this monster that is Cultober 3, because Jesus, this is a beast.
Again, we need to talk about a vacation time throughout the year. That's all.
Yeah,
Can I?
Bailey and I have our own editor.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we have our own editor.
Messy to the bone. He's fine.
He's fine.
You know what? You're right. As long as Call of Camel don't do shit, I could just not do it for a while.
You're right. Yeah. Which I did take away. We've had a break. Well, you got to do all Cultober stuff. See? I mean, what are you bitching about? I haven't released an episode of Call of Camel since July 4th.
That's what I say. And this next year, as long as Call of Camel will do some shit, then I can take a break from editing.
As long as we take a nice break from Call of Campbell and don't, randomly start up a summer event. Well, we have American Pie Slices too, maybe.
We'll
see. See where the demand is.
That one wasn't too intensive. That was fine.
That was a nice relaxing one. That was just for Mike and I. But I think that does it, guys, for us talking about the Crow 1994, as well as just the Crow franchise in general. We talked about it all. This has been a fantastic episode. R.I.P. Brandon Lee.
Yes.
Make sure you guys follow us at Cult Cult Talk Net across the board. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the things. X, Threads, whichever you prefer. Are you an Xer or are you a Threader?
Yeah, we're semi not active on either of them. So whichever you want to choose, that's fine.
Yeah. Instagram is the hotbed. Go to Instagram, instagram.com/Cult Talk, or Instagram at Cult Talk Net.
Mostly because Tyler don't understand Twitter or Threads, and I don't have the time to do it. So
Watch Twitter.
Yeah, X.
Yeah,
Tyler, either one, Tyler don't quite get it. So
I like the format of it. I don't like the formatting of it. I like Instagram better. I'm an Instagrammer.
You like pictures?
Yeah, I like pictures.
Which X is going to be bringing a picture-only stream, like scroll you can do.
Well,
why not just?
Because they're all competing, Bailey. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's
capitalism at its finest.
It's Musk versus Zuck. What side you on? Pick your side.
Wow.
I don't. Neither one of them help me necessarily directly. So
I'm at this right now. Zuck has Instagram, so I'm an Instagram.
Zuck's a robot, so that's fine.
Zuck is a reptilian.
Oh, either way.
Yep.
He's a reptilian.
If you want to learn more about reptilians, go to Cult Talk's Conspiracy, the Reptilian Rule.
I would say what, like Zuck is a reptilian. I'd say Musk is a robot.
Yeah.
I'd say he's a robot.
It's the reptilians
and
versus
Bezos is not even talked about anymore.
No.
Jeffrey.
Still a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't
fucking Mark Bezos loser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even in the conversation.
He hasn't taken one into space in a long while.
Yeah. I think he's fine. I think he's fine.
Let's get out of here.
Right. But yeah, follow us at Cult Talk Net across the board. Make sure you guys check out all the Cultober exclusives for the first time ever right here on this own feed. Make sure you guys check out Cult Talk Conspiracy every other Tuesday, except for this month where it was every Tuesday. Make sure you guys check out Cult of Lore the first, third Thursday of every month. Definitely third Thursday of every month. Cult of Campbell comes out on Mondays sometimes, unless Mike bitches about it. We don't do it, so you can blame him.
You're OOC out of content over there for that.
Oh yeah. I am.
You're going to really just start going to his books, really.
We do. We have a book review coming up here probably next month. Keep an ear out for. Cult of Russell, another podcast we have. It'll be coming back in December for our big Christmas celebration, a very Cult Talk Net Christmas. But that does it for us, guys. Thank you for joining us here on the final Friday of Cultober 3. Thank you guys for joining us for this whole big journey. We hope you continue to listen. Until next time, I've been Ty.
I've been Michael.
And I've been Bailey.